when I think of that, that reminds me of going to Spain and eating too much and drinking a little bit too much. I love Spain.
Tapas.
Tapas. Oh man, don't get me started. When I was a kid, maybe for about 13 or 14 years old, I went fishing. And I bought all this gear, all this tackle, in a huge box. I spent all this money. And I caught my first fish, and I was so excited. It was a little bluegill. It was just wonderful. So here's something to think about that. If you want to catch a fish, give the fish what they want, not what you want. If you want to catch a fish, give the fish what you want, give the fish what they want, not what you want. Sylvia, tell us about your fishing trip.
You want a fishing story?
Whatever you want.
Well, actually I did learn to fish when I was very young, because I've told you before, I grew up in a small town in middle Georgia, and one of the places that people went to fish was at a lake that was at a camp. It was called Camp John Pope. And we would go to Camp John Pope and fish. And my father loved to fish, and I loved to be with my dad, even though I was kind of scared of these things that were flopping around, throw the thing in, and they'd come out, and I was afraid to touch them, and he would many times kind of help me touch it, help me take it off the hook. And so I think the real challenge, though, was to do it by myself, to actually walk through the woods to the edge of the lake, to actually just kind of cast the line out there and get something that was big enough for you to actually grab and hold on to, and then bring it in. And I realized that there are several different kinds of bait that you put out there. And so if I had put something out there that I liked, I'd probably send something out there like a little piece of the shrimp that you could also use to fish with. But these fish really weren't into shrimp. I think they weren't big enough, frankly. But what I had to do, as well as deal with this squiggly fish, was to deal with this squiggly worm. The fish really wanted the earthworm. And so not only did I learn to take the earthworm and put it on the hook, and I learned eventually to take the fish off and to put it into the box. But the big advantage of all of this was to get to spend another day with my dad doing anything.
Very nice. I forgot about that aspect about the worm. I never did get used to that. You know, I was like, oh, poor little worm, it's killing me. Okay, so for our guests, so just remember that breakfast is on us today. So there's passing around basket for the rest of us. So you guys just order what you can. It's your last chance. Now, I was in sales, and last week's theme was about trust. You want to present yourself as someone that can be trusted. And I know someone here that we all trust, and I want to know his thoughts about this. Trust is a risk game. The leader must ante up first. Leonard. Trust is a risk game. The leader must ante up first.
Wow.
Trust me. You ever hear that phrase when you just trust me? Whenever somebody says that to me, I don't trust them. Because it's almost like, why am I supposed to trust you when you tell me to trust? And isn't trust something that we really have to earn? And trust is something that we develop over time as individuals. We had a speech, I think it was last week, talking about trust. And I think the key, especially in our economic climate, is to really create and generate trust between one another. And I think the trust that we really value is trust to know that I'm here for you, that I'm here to help you. I'm really genuinely concerned about you. Not that I want to sell you something or give you something or get you to change your mind so you're believing in my opinions. Really, trust is about conveying to each individual the message that you're important, you're valued, and what you have to say really has great meaning to me. And if only we take time to develop that with one another, won't we generate more trust within ourselves, within our community, and really, when the word trust comes to mind, we all know exactly what that means. Thank you.
Very well done,
And
Leonard.
odios is something I should have said, but I didn't.
Came from a good pull there. Now this is my favorite type of question because when I was a kid, of course, my mom put me in front of the TV and says, "Here, watch TV," because she had 4 other boys to take care of, so that was my babysitter. But from watching TV, Batman was my hero. So every time that campy show came on, I just was glued to it because he was awesome. This is what I want to know about someone. Think back to your childhood. Who was your childhood hero? Nancy.
Odious is such an interesting word. I'm going to have to think about how to use it and give you a sentence next time. As far as heroes go, who's my childhood hero? I enjoyed every kind of hero. I liked all the Superman. I like now they have the X-Men. I like anyone who's a hero. And it's such an appropriate topic for today because Terry McCann really was this club's hero. And when I think you came and visited with us once before, and he was also your hero. And you told some really fun stories, and I can't imagine having 7 kids. I have 4, my mom had 6, and the whole neighborhood was always at our house, and I assume your home was the same way, so that you really were pretty much a hero. And had I known you and your family and Terry McCann better, I think he probably would have taken the top of all the heroes that I learned about as a kid because of the values that he instilled in everybody he met. So my dad was also a hero of mine, that was yours. And my dad was really a con artist. He was not the kind of hero that you normally would admire. But he was the kind of guy that found solutions in inappropriate ways. And as I became a social worker, I had to unlearn some of the things that he taught me. And, so now I find solutions too, and that's okay, but I get to be a little more reputable than he was. But, you know, we all have our heroes, and I'm really appreciative that our club was able to have your husband and your dad, and